Asia LaShelle here, and I'm back with another video. So as you can tell from the title, we are going to be designing business cards. These business cards are kind of going to coordinate with the Acuity site that I designed last time and some of the other stuff I have going into my shop. So if you're someone who kind of needing everything, it'll be available in my store if you check the description box below. So what you're going to see me do here in just a second is we're going to create the design, and you're going to search for thank you cards, and we're going to select the one that says thank you card photo or photo thank you card. It's 5 by 7 inches. Okay, and these can be printed out directly inside of Canva. So the first thing I want to do is I think I'm going to show you guys like what my design inspiration is from. So here's one of the other products that I'm using where I've created. It's a website launch flyer, and so I want to create thank you cards that will coordinate with this. And now I'm just showing you the finished design. So this is what we're going to be recreating today, and you'll be seeing me kind of toggle back and forth between this design to make sure I'm getting the right settings. So first we're going to choose a design. We're going to go into background, and we're going to choose this gradient. I love this gradient. Next, I'm going to choose the color. I'm going to use this palette here called Pinky that I created. And if you guys want a video on how to create color palettes in Canva, let me know. So I chose that pink that we're going to go ahead and work with. And I believe like the next thing I'm going to do is get into placing the text on the design. So yeah, here we go. Clicked on text, and I'm just going to type in hey babe, exclamation, and I'm just trying to get like everything in place. So I'm making it a little bit larger, I'm making it white, moving it all into place. And you guys let me know if the pacing of this video is a little bit better than before. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding a drop shadow under effects, and I'm bringing that offset down to 20, and I'm moving the transparency up all the way to 100, and I'm changing the color to black. Okay, and I want to move that offset down a little bit more. We moved it to 7 just so it's slightly there, not too big or chunky. Next, we're going to put in the word thanks. We're going to uppercase it. And we're going to choose the font wide and just make that a little bit larger and get that into place. And we're going to add an effect called Splice. We're going to change the offset to 0, and we're going to change the internal color to white, actually to black, and then make the outside color white. Okay, so we have hey babe, thanks. We're adding more text. This text is for your purchase, and that's going to be all the text for the front of this banner, and we're just making that text bold. We're going to change the color to white. We're going to also give this a shadow and change the transparency to 100, make it black, and we're good there. So the next thing we're going to do is that little like gold bar, I believe. I'm just readjusting now the size of the font to what the original one was. So, and we're all set. I'm checking to make sure everything is like centered. All right, so now what you're going to see me do is I'm going to go into one of my folders, and this is my gold folder here. I have purchased some digital papers. I buy my digital papers from Etsy, also from Creative Market. So you can do that as well. I'm also showing you here where if you go into elements and type in gold, you can do silver or rose gold, whatever. And you can click on photo, and you can find different color papers. If you have Canva Pro, you have access to everything's there. But if not, you can filter it by the free stuff, which is helpful if you're a graphic designer and you're creating templates to sell and you don't want your clients to have to pay for stuff. Then you just click and use all the free stuff so they don't have to use anything, or they don't have to pay anything extra once they buy your template. So now I'm just resizing the paper. I'm kind of clicking back and forth to just make sure I'm kind of getting things proportioned the same way. And yeah, I think that's looking kind of good. I might play around a little bit with the spacing and all that kind of stuff a little bit. And I'm playing with the letter spacing, because you see how tight that is. I'm moving the letter spacing out. There we go. All right, so that's looking good. I think it's time for the pictures of the models. Maybe I'm going to adjust where it's sitting. Yeah, it was sitting up kind of high. So I'm just adjusting where the words are placed on the page. So I think I'm feeling a little bit better about this. Cool. So now it's time to get to your model photos. And I'm going to go off on a little slight tangent. You see this design is pretty simple. What's going to make this look so good are the photos. So if you don't have money to do a photo shoot or get a professional shoot done, invest in some stock photos. And Etsy has several people who sell stock photos of models. And that's where I bought these packs from. And that's what I'm showing you right now. Like there are plenty of people selling nice photos of professional shoots on Etsy. And I'm seeing more and more people do this. They're not cheap, but they're cheaper than an actual photo shoot. So, I would say to invest in good pictures, because as you can see, the design is very simple, but it's the photos that are going to make this design pop. Not glitter, not foil, not diamonds sprinkled all over it, but high quality pictures are going to give you a high quality looking product at the end of the day. So all I'm doing now is using the background remover. This is a Canva Pro feature. So if you want to have access to this feature, Canva Pro is available for 30 days for free. If you click the link down in the description, I have a link there to Canva. You can sign up for 30 days free. If you don't want to keep paying for it, just cancel it and use it to create all of your stuff. But I always say this pretty much in every video where you see me using Canva, that Canva is an incredible investment. And I definitely always advocate for Canva. I'm a Canva affiliate, but before I was a Canva affiliate, I think I only became an affiliate like a year ago. I've been using Canva since like 2017, I think. So I've been using Canva for a while now, and I absolutely love this tool. I used to be really heavy into Photoshop, and I still use Photoshop for different things. Like I use Photoshop when it's just something Canva just can't do. But for most of what I do, I'm inside of Canva. And so it's an incredible tool. I've seen it develop a lot in that time. They've added a lot of options and features, and a lot of designers that I know who were like resistant to using Canva are using Canva now. So you can do so much in it, especially if you get Canva Pro. You can schedule all your stuff for Instagram. You can create pretty much everything for your business as far as branding materials inside of Canva for the most part. So all you're seeing me do now is just kind of like go back and forth, and I'm trying to find the right photos to use, make sure I'm using the same ones, but I don't think I found the middle one, so I just use a different one. So yeah, I'm just getting them kind of placed the same way, getting the models kind of like getting this model on the same plane as the other ones. And what you're seeing me do here is I'm bringing those handles in, because when you start to layer things inside of Canva, if you have those little extra spaces where there's nothing there and it's just these big huge blocks with nothing in it, it really does take up a lot of space, and it's hard for you to click the different elements. So you will always see me tighten my handles up on my elements. All right, so I'm getting it together. And then what I'm about to do here, I think I'm just playing around with the placement a little bit, because I'm looking at her. This is the same model, so I kind of want her on the same plane, meaning like I want her head remotely, roughly the same size in each shot. I want her head to be at roughly the same height. So I'm just playing around. So now I'm reducing the transparency on the pictures down to about 30%. And yeah, just doing that. And that's what's giving y'all that effect. I don't know if you've been noticing people with this whole kind of like, it looks really upscale, really clean, very high end, this whole like transparency look. It's a lot softer, very clean, and streamlined. And I know I've seen a lot of designers kind of like use this style in their designs. And yeah, you see me, I'm being very nitpicky here about where the model is placed. So that's all I'm doing here at this point. And I think in a second, I'm going to go ahead and add another page, which I just did. So we're going to go back to backgrounds, click that gradient, click that pink again. So we're good. We have our background. Now it's just a matter of adding the text. So I'm going to look here, enjoy 30% off your next order, use code thanks. So what I'm doing here is just grabbing my text, and something I mentioned in my last video, but if you didn't see it, is you'll see in this design, I literally only use 3 fonts. I use the script just to say, hey babe, just to give a pop. But the only 2 other fonts I use are one called Lotto or Lato, and the other one is called Wide. That is literally it. That's another key to designing a very streamlined look. So all I'm doing here is kind of looking at my placement, and I'm going to like toggle back and forth to kind of make sure that I have things in the correct place based on the original design. The other thing I know I'm discussing here is font pairing, right? So when it comes to pairing your fonts, like make sure that you understand font pairing first of all, like what types of fonts go well together. So I would highly suggest maybe Googling and looking through and finding some articles on font pairing. The other thing that you might want to look at are like color theory. Like go and read some articles on color theory so you can understand how your colors that you choose for your brand, what kind of messaging it sends depending on your brand, because you can't just pick colors for your brand that you like, because colors that you like might not send the message that you want to send for your brand. Okay, and so what you're seeing me do here is I'm changing the alignment of the text to be left aligned. And the reason why I'm doing that, you're going to see me kind of play around with the font in just a second. There's going to be a border, like a guide that pops up, and I'm showing you here. You see that little guide that pops up? If you use that guide and you align your font to the left or the right, depending on where you want your font to sit, your font will always be lined up. So that's why I aligned my stuff to the left, because I wanted it to be, have a guide. I'm using the left hand side as a guide. So I'm getting my next font, which is use code, and I'm just copying the text here and I'm putting thanks 22 is the code. So now that we have the font in place, now you're gonna see me toggling back and forth and playing around with the size of the font. So I see that enjoy, I'm changing that font size. I'm just going through here at this point and changing the font sizes. And you're also going to see me change the line spacing so that 30% off isn't so far apart. Okay, so I reduced the line spacing here. And you're just going to see me adjust the font sizes a little bit and move things down to reorganize them. And use code, adjusting that. And I'm also going to change that. And so now you're going to see me playing around with tidying up everything. So I selected everything and I clicked on position and I clicked on vertical. So what it did was it made sure that everything was equally spaced apart vertically. All right, so everything's even now. And now I'm just adding the effects on here. So now I'm going to do a splice on this. Change the offset, change the center. Cool. 30% off stays the same. Now I'm going to do the reverse on the your next order. So change that font to white do a offset, change the splice to white. There we go. All right, and then we use code stays the same, and then thanks. We're going to do splice again. Okay, there we go. So now we have our text the way we want it. Next thing we need to do is grab that gold again. And again, you can use the free golds that are available in Canva. You can purchase a digital paper pack. And now what I'm just doing, I'm just playing around with the size of that little gold bar. Just there we go. And that's looking pretty good. So now that I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, I want to go into a black paper that I have. And I'm just going to create this border at the bottom. The reason why I use papers sometimes as opposed to just like a plain black or a square or something like that, or an element inside of Canva, which you can, is just because sometimes I just like that extra texture. Sometimes that extra texture gives a little visual interest, makes things feel a little bit more rich, all of that good stuff. It just adds a little bit of something more than just a flat black. And what I'm doing here is adjusting the line spacing. And there we go. And then now I'm going to play around with the photos. Okay. And then what I'm explaining here, I think really what I'm getting into here, because I did speak through this video, but it was so long, it was like 40 minutes long. But basically all I was saying is like, look at how basic this design is. It's not super complicated. It's well composed, but it's not a complicated design. What really is going to make this design pop are these pictures. And that's why great quality photos is so important to your brand. Invest in a photo shoot. There are plenty of photographers around. And I mean, if you have a newer iPhone, I swear an iPhone on a freaking ring light holder, like you can do your own photo shoot, seriously. And if you use like Facetune or the Face app, there's a couple others, like you will literally look like a whole different person, I promise you. Because I've used those applications to modify some of my client photos. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys something in a minute. So here's the finished design, pretty much, right? It's all good. I'm giving this tip here. Somebody asked, if you want to share this with your client, click on share and click on share design as a template. All right. Share a link to use as a template. That's the option that you want to select. Share a link to use as a template and then copy the link. That's what you want to share with your clients. Never choose the share a link to edit, because that will edit the original design. If you do the option for a template, that's basically going to make a copy of your original design for them to edit on. But if you give them the original design, they're going to edit your original design and mess that up. So you don't want to do that. So hopefully that answers that question for the people who had it and how to share it with your client if you're a graphic designer watching this. Okay, so that's the design. So what I'm about to play around with now, I'm pretty sure, is just showing you how easy it is to kind of swap this stuff out. Because I get people who will buy a template and be like, oh, but I have a hair business and this template looks like it's for a boutique. Watch this. I just swapped out that picture for a hair photo. And let me tell you something. That picture is not the original model, the face, or anything. That original photo was a white woman, and I did that in an app. So girl, you can make some things do what they do. And just look at that. This again, this is not a black woman. This is something I did in an app. Okay, this is not a black woman. This is a white woman with this picture, and I changed it. So there's a lot you can do without having to go do your own photo shoot. All right, so you can kind of see like that same design worked just fine for a hair company. And I say, this look like it's the same person doing this photo shoot, but I promise you, this is not. This is all finessing. This is all using apps and fine tuning things in the Face app and Facetune. So yeah, so it's a very versatile template. So yeah, you guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope the pacing is a little bit better. Again, if you want this design, check the description below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.